Most people spend their lives complaining, telling others about their problems, and waiting for someone to save them. But let me tell you the hard truth. No one is coming. Your problems don't define you, your reaction does. The moment you stop focusing on what's wrong and start taking massive action, your life will change. Winners don't waste energy complaining. They focus, they adapt, and they execute. If you want real success, stop telling people your problems and start creating solutions. Welcome to Motivate Track. Let's dive in. Nobody wants to hear your problems. People value solutions, not complaints. This might sound harsh, but it's the truth. The world does not stop because you are struggling. People are wired to be drawn towards strength, confidence, and solutions, not to be burdened by negativity. Think about the people you admire the most. Are they the ones who constantly complain about their circumstances? Or are they the ones who rise above challenges and find a way forward? When you keep telling people about your problems, what are you really doing? You're reinforcing those problems in your mind. You're giving them life. You're focusing your energy on what's wrong instead of on what you can do about it. And what you focus on, you magnify. If you keep talking about struggles, guess what happens? They become your identity. You start to believe that you are your problems rather than someone who can overcome them. Most people don't realize this, but constantly sharing problems is a form of validation seeking. It's a subconscious way of looking for approval, of getting people to feel sorry for you, of finding an excuse for why you're not where you want to be. But here's the brutal truth. Sympathy will not change your life. No amount of people nodding their heads and saying, "I'm so sorry you're going through this," will put money in your bank account, fix your relationships, or improve your health. Now let's be clear, there is a difference between seeking guidance and complaining. If you genuinely need help, find someone who can provide a solution. Not someone who will just listen and agree with your pain, but someone who will push you to take action. Most people don't want real advice because real advice requires change, and change is uncomfortable. The harsh reality is that people have their own problems. They're dealing with their own struggles, their own fears, and their own battles. When you constantly unload your problems onto them, they may listen out of politeness, but deep down they're thinking about their own challenges. That's just human nature. Winners in life understand this. They don't waste time sharing problems. They focus on solving them. They walk into a room with solutions, not complaints. They inspire others by showing resilience, not weakness. And as a result, people are drawn to them. People want to do business with them. People want to be around them. The more you talk about your problems, the more you train your mind to see yourself as stuck. Instead of looking for solutions, you're looking for an audience. And when you do that, you rob yourself of power. You make yourself a victim of your circumstances rather than the creator of your destiny. Constantly talking about struggles reinforces a victim mindset. Your words have power. Every time you speak about your problems, you are reinforcing a story in your mind. You are creating an identity around struggle, and that identity shapes your actions, your emotions, and ultimately your results. Think about this. Two people go through the same setback. One person keeps repeating, "Why does this always happen to me? Life is so unfair. I can't catch a break." The other person says, "This is tough, but what can I learn from it? How can I use this to get stronger?" Which person do you think will come out on top? When you keep talking about your struggles, you are telling your brain that you are powerless. And when you believe you are powerless, you act like it. You hesitate, you make excuses, you give yourself reasons to stay stuck. But when you shift your mindset and stop dwelling on what's wrong, you take your power back. Most people don't even realize they are stuck in a victim mindset. They think they are just being real or venting. But in reality, they are programming themselves to be passive. They are feeding their minds a constant diet of limitation instead of possibility. And here's the worst part. When you adopt a victim mindset, you attract other victims. Misery loves company. You will find yourself surrounded by people who also complain, who also feel stuck, who also believe life is unfair. And before you know it, you've built an entire identity around struggle rather than success. Victim mentality destroys opportunity. It blinds you to possibilities. It convinces you that you are at the mercy of circumstances rather than in control of your destiny. But the truth is, you always have control over something. Your mindset, your effort, your response. When you focus on those things, you stop being a victim and start being a leader. You have a choice. You can keep talking about your struggles and reinforcing the idea that you are powerless, or you can shift your mindset and take charge of your life. The moment you stop giving your problems power through words, you start creating solutions. What you focus on, you feel. What you feel, you become. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, but most people don't understand how to use it. They think life happens to them, that their emotions are just reactions to circumstances. But the truth is, your emotions are dictated by what you focus on. Whatever you give your attention to, you amplify. If you focus on problems, you'll feel overwhelmed. If you focus on possibilities, you'll feel empowered. Imagine two people wake up in the morning. One immediately thinks about how tired they are, how much they have to do, and how unfair life is. Their body follows that mindset. They feel drained, stressed, and unmotivated before they even get out of bed. The second person wakes up and immediately focuses on gratitude, on the opportunities ahead, on what they can accomplish today, on what excites them. Their energy follows that focus. They feel strong, engaged, and ready to attack the day. Nothing external has changed for either person. The difference is what they are focusing on. Your focus determines your emotions, and your emotions determine your actions. People who focus on their failures, their mistakes, and their struggles feel trapped. They replay the same negative stories over and over, strengthening the belief that they are stuck. But those who focus on growth, learning, and solutions feel unstoppable. They train their brains to see opportunities where others see obstacles. This is why two people can experience the same event and react completely differently. One sees a failure as proof that they're not good enough. The other sees that same failure as feedback, a lesson that will make them better. It's not the event that determines their experience, it's their focus. Your mind is like a camera lens. Whatever you zoom in on becomes your reality. If you zoom in on pain, you'll feel pain. If you zoom in on progress, you'll feel motivated. The question is, what are you focusing on every single day? Are you feeding your mind with negativity, limitations, and excuses? Or are you focusing on possibilities, growth, and action? Most people let their focus be controlled by the outside world. They react to the news, to social media, to the opinions of others. But high achievers take control of their focus. They train themselves to see opportunities to direct their thoughts toward what they can control and to block out the distractions that don't serve them. If you constantly focus on what's wrong, you'll feel powerless. But if you train yourself to focus on what's possible, on what you can do right now, you'll build momentum. Momentum creates confidence, confidence creates action, action creates results, and those results reinforce the belief that you are in control. This is not just motivational talk, this is science. Your brain is wired with a system called the reticular activating system, RAS. Its job is to filter the millions of pieces of information coming at you every second and focus only on what you tell it is important. That's why when you decide to buy a new car, suddenly you see that car everywhere. It was always there, but now your brain is looking for it. The same applies to your success. If you focus on struggle, your brain will find proof of it everywhere. But if you focus on opportunity, your brain will start showing you doors you never noticed before. The key to mastering your life is mastering your focus. What you focus on, you feel. What you feel, you become. If you want to change your life, change what you focus on. No one is coming to save you. Your success is your responsibility. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, but once you do, it will set you free. No one is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not the government. If you are waiting for someone to come along and fix your problems, you will be waiting forever. Most people waste their lives waiting for the perfect moment, for the right circumstances, for someone to give them a handout. They make excuses about why they can't succeed, blaming their past, their environment, or the people around them. But the truth is, the only person responsible for your success is you. You have two choices in life. You can take full responsibility for your results, or you can make excuses. You can own your future, or you can blame others for why you're not where you want to be. But you cannot do both. Taking responsibility is not about blaming yourself or feeling guilty. It's about recognizing that no matter what has happened to you, you have the power to change your future. Maybe you weren't born into wealth. Maybe you had a rough childhood. Maybe life has been unfair to you, but so what? Plenty of people have faced worse and still found a way to win. The difference is they took ownership of their lives. When you take responsibility, you take control. You stop waiting for someone to rescue you. You stop hoping that external circumstances will magically improve. Instead, you ask yourself, what can I do right now? Because no matter how bad things seem, there is always something you can do. Look at the most successful people in the world. None of them got there by luck. They didn't wait for the perfect opportunity. They created it. They took action despite the challenges, despite the obstacles, despite the doubts. They refused to see themselves as victims and instead chose to be the architects of their own destiny. If you don't take responsibility for your success, someone else will control your future. And if someone else is in control, they get to decide how your life turns out. Do you really want to leave your destiny in someone else's hands? Most people would rather stay in their comfort zone than face this truth. It's easier to blame circumstances than to take responsibility. It's easier to say, I can't succeed because of my background, than to admit I haven't done what it takes. But the moment you stop making excuses and start taking massive action, everything changes. There will always be challenges. There will always be obstacles, but winners don't sit around complaining about them. They adapt, they adjust, they find a way forward. They understand that no one is coming to save them, so they take full ownership of their lives. The people who wait for someone else to fix their problems will always be disappointed, but the people who take responsibility for their success will always find a way to win. Your problems don't define you, your reaction to them does. Life is not about what happens to you, it's about how you respond to it. Everyone faces struggles, everyone goes through pain, everyone encounters obstacles. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is not the absence of problems, it's how they react to them. Some people let their problems define them. They wear their struggles like a badge of identity. They keep repeating the same story. I lost my job, my business failed, my relationship ended, life is unfair. They allow their past experiences to shape their future. They start believing that because something bad happened, they are now limited, powerless, or destined to struggle forever. But here's the truth. What happens to you is not who you are. Your problems are just events, just moments in time. They do not define your potential. They do not decide your future. What defines you is how you respond, how you rise, how you adapt, and how you keep moving forward. There are people who have faced unimaginable hardship, bankruptcy, loss, failure, rejection, and still built an incredible life. And there are others who let one setback destroy them. What makes the difference? It's not intelligence, talent, or luck, it's mindset. It's the ability to see challenges as stepping stones instead of roadblocks. Imagine two people who both lose their jobs. One sinks into self-pity, blaming the economy, their boss, and bad luck. They sit at home, complaining about how unfair life is, waiting for something to change. The other immediately starts looking for new opportunities. They use the setback as fuel to upgrade their skills, to make new connections, to explore new possibilities. The first person is stuck because they let the problem define them. The second person is empowered because they control their reaction. Think about the most successful people in the world. They didn't get there without problems. They failed, they struggled, they made mistakes, but they never let those moments define them. They used them, they learned from them, they turned them into fuel for growth. Your problems are not the enemy. Your reaction to them is what matters. You can choose to let them break you, or you can choose to let them build you. Every setback carries a lesson. Every challenge has an opportunity. The question is, what are you going to focus on? The strongest people in life are not the ones who never faced difficulties. They are the ones who refused to let those difficulties control their destiny. They decided that no matter what happens, they will keep going. No matter how hard it gets, they will find a way forward. Because they understand one simple truth. Their problems do not define them. Their reaction to those problems does. Winners don't complain, they take massive action. Successful people don't waste time whining about their problems. They don't sit around blaming the world, pointing fingers, or making excuses. They take action. They get things done. They focus on what they can control instead of dwelling on what they can't. The difference between winners and losers in life is simple. Losers complain, winners execute. Losers spend their energy talking about how unfair things are. Winners channel that energy into making things happen. Complaining feels good in the moment because it shifts responsibility. It allows you to avoid action, but it never changes your situation. It keeps you stuck. If you look at the most successful people in any field, business, sports, entertainment, personal development, one thing is clear, they are action takers. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. They don't dwell on what went wrong. They analyze, they adjust, and they move forward. Think about it. Have you ever seen a champion athlete spend time whining about their failures? Do billionaires sit around blaming the economy? Do the best leaders waste time complaining about what's wrong? No, they take action. They find solutions. They keep moving forward. People who complain are focused on problems. People who take action are focused on solutions. And in life, you get what you focus on. If you constantly talk about what's wrong, you will only see more of what's wrong. But if you train yourself to focus on what can be done, you will start to find opportunities everywhere. Most people believe that their circumstances control their lives. They think that if only things were different, if only they had more money, more time, more support, then they could succeed. But winners know the truth. It's not about what you have, it's about what you do with what you have. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They take massive action with whatever they've got. Look at any self-made success story. These people didn't start with ideal conditions. They faced challenges, setbacks, rejection, but they didn't let any of that stop them. Instead of complaining about what they lacked, they worked with what they had. They used their skills, their network, their drive to create opportunities. The most dangerous habit in life is waiting. Waiting for the right time, waiting for permission, waiting for things to change. Winners don't wait, they act. They understand that nothing will happen unless they make it happen. The truth is, every second spent complaining is a second wasted. Every moment spent focusing on what's wrong is a moment stolen from what could be made right. Winners don't waste those moments. They take charge. They step up. They refuse to be passive observers of their own lives. No one is going to come and push you into action. No one is going to force you to take the first step. That's your job. And the sooner you stop complaining and start moving, the sooner you will see results. Because success is not given, it is created, and is only created by those who take action. Your energy flows where your attention goes. Whatever you consistently focus on expands. If you constantly think about problems, you drain your energy. If you focus on opportunities, you gain momentum. Your thoughts shape your emotions, and your emotions dictate your actions. If your mind is filled with negativity, fear, and doubt, your actions will reflect that. But if you train yourself to focus on solutions, progress, and growth, you will move in that direction. High achievers discipline their focus. They don't waste mental energy on things they cannot control. They direct their attention toward what moves them forward. Your mind is like a muscle. Whatever you train it to focus on becomes stronger. If you repeatedly focus on failure, you reinforce hesitation. If you focus on possibilities, you train yourself to take bold action. Your energy is your most valuable resource, and where you place your attention determines how much of it you have. Master your focus, and you master your life. If you want different results, take different actions. Doing the same things and expecting a different outcome is a trap. If your actions are not producing the results you want, change them. Success is a process of testing, learning, and adapting. People stay stuck because they refuse to break old habits. They rely on what's familiar rather than what's effective. Growth requires stepping into discomfort and doing what you've never done before. The most successful people embrace change, they adjust their approach, experiment with new strategies, and stay flexible. If something isn't working, they don't complain, they pivot. Every breakthrough in life comes from a willingness to do something different. If you want a better body, change your routine. If you want more income, develop new skills. If you want stronger relationships, communicate differently. Progress is the result of new actions, not wishful thinking. The faster you take different actions, the faster you change your results. The quality of your life is determined by the standards you set. Your life is a reflection of the standards you demand of yourself. If you accept mediocrity, that's what you'll get. If you expect excellence, you'll rise to meet it. People who succeed hold themselves to higher standards in their health, relationships, finances, and mindset. They don't settle for good enough. They push themselves beyond comfort, beyond excuses, and beyond limitations. Your standards dictate your habits, your discipline, and ultimately your results. If you want more from life, raise your standards. Stop tolerating procrastination, self-doubt, and laziness. Decide what you will no longer accept and commit to a new level of expectation for yourself. The moment you demand more from yourself is the moment your life begins to change. Your environment shapes your success. Choose wisely. The people and influences around you determine your mindset, motivation, and habits. If you surround yourself with negativity, doubt, and excuses, those traits will seep into your life. But if you surround yourself with driven, positive, and disciplined individuals, you will elevate your own standards. Environment is more than just people. It's the books you read, the content you consume, and the conversations you engage in. Winners intentionally design their environment for success. They limit distractions, remove toxic influences, and place themselves in situations that fuel their growth. If you want to change your life, start by changing what surrounds you. Upgrade your environment, and you will upgrade your results. Your focus determines your feelings, and your feelings dictate your actions. Winners don't wait for life to change. They take control. They don't let problems define them. They use them as fuel. If you want different results, you must take different actions. Raise your standards, protect your environment, and stop looking for sympathy. Your success is 100% your responsibility. Shift your focus, take ownership, and execute with relentless determination. This is how you break free. This is how you win. If this message hits you hard, don't just listen. Apply it. Take action today, right now. And if you're ready for more unstoppable motivation, subscribe to Motivator 8 track and keep leveling up.